Sometimes a card location doesn't go exactly as planned. In this effect though, you have a surprising backup plan that ensures no matter what the selected card, you will find that card every single time. This is guaranteed to surprise. This is Coach Trick. Welcome back to Coach Trick. Today's effect has to be one of the most mysterious and surprising revelations around. It's guaranteed to amaze, yet it's a self-working wonder, can be performed with a shuffled deck and requires no secret setup. As ever, stay to the end as we look at how mastering magic can help inspire and empower you to success in everyday life. Okay, let's jump into it. Grab a deck and let's go. Okay, as ever, let's kickstart by taking a look at the effect itself. Now, this is going to be a card location with a difference, even in the trickiest of situations. Now, we need maximum focus for this effect, so we don't need the whole deck. So the first thing we're going to do is just divide the cards into red cards and black cards. And you can do this yourself, or you can ask the spectator to help. You're basically just going to deal the cards into two piles, red cards and black cards, just like so. With that done, you're now going to ask the spectator to choose one of these piles, and it really is a free choice. They can choose any pile. Let's say they choose this pile here, the red cards. You can place the other pile aside. You can now give the spectator their chosen pile, the red cards in this case, and ask them to give the cards a shuffle. They can shuffle the cards as much as they like. You now want the spectator to choose a totally random card. So you're going to ask them to think of a number between 1 and 10, any number they like. It's a free choice, not to tell you, but just to think of it. You're now going to turn away so you can't see anything that's going on. And you're going to ask the spectator to take the pack and to deal a number of cards to the table corresponding to the number they're thinking of. So let's say in this instance, they're thinking of the number 6. They'll deal 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And once they've done that, ask them to do exactly the same and deal the second pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, obviously, ask them to do that quietly so that you can't hear how many cards are being dealt. With yourself still looking away, you'll now ask the spectator to select one of these piles. Again, it's a totally free choice. Let's say they select this pile just here. Ask them to take that pile and to take a look at the bottom card and to remember that as their selected card. So we can see here it's the King of Diamonds, and then to place that pile back on top of the pack. At this point, you can turn back around. Now you can remind everybody that from a shuffled pack, the spectator has chosen a random number, and they've used that number to select a random card which is now lost in the pack. There's no way that you can know the chosen number, the selected card, or where that card now is. It's totally random. However, you're now going to attempt to find that card simply by sensing it from the spectator. So ask them to think of the card just to really clearly picture it. And you're going to deal through the cards like so, and you're just going to try to pick up on their thoughts to identify their card. So ask them to keep on thinking of their card as you deal the cards really clearly. Now in this case, it's not very clear. I'm struggling a little bit. Nothing's really coming through. I'm not sure what their card is, but this is okay. This can sometimes happen. You can explain to the spectator that what you think has happened is they've selected a really tricky card, a card that's difficult to sense. So although you still don't know what their card is, there is one thing that you do know. Of course, that their card is red. Remember, because they selected the red pile. So you can explain to the spectator really clearly that your card is red, and that's the one thing that you do know about their card. In fact, we can even use that to find the selected card. So gather the pack back together and hand it to the spectator, and now you can ask the spectator to literally spell those words. Your card is red. So they'll take the pack and word for word, one card for each letter. Your card is red, spelt out to the table. So your, Y-O-U-R, card, C-A-R-D, is I-S, red. R-E-D, which takes us to this card right here. At this point, you can remind the spectator again that their selected card was totally random. They could have chosen any number and they could have selected any card. For the first time now, ask the spectator to reveal the value of their selected card. Of course, in this instance, it was the King of Diamonds. And now you can reveal how this card right here is indeed the King of Diamonds. A wonderful little card location that's also super simple to perform. So stick around because now I will show you exactly how it works. Okay, so let's take a look at the secret to this effect. You're going to start with the cards divided into two piles, a pile of red cards and a pile of black cards, just like so. Now the spectator can select either of these piles. It really is a free choice. You don't need to force a pile, and this trick will work with whichever pile they choose. So let's say in this instance they select this pile just here, the red cards. You can place the other pile aside. The spectator can now take their selected pile and they can shuffle the cards, and they really can shuffle the cards as much as they like. They'll now think of a random number between 1 and 10, and they'll deal the number of cards to the table corresponding to that number. So let's say they're thinking of the number 5. They'll deal 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once they've done that, you'll ask them to do exactly the same and deal a second pile, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the spectator can select either of these piles. Again, it's a totally free choice. Let's say they select this pile here. Ask them to take their selected pile and to take a look at the bottom card and remember that as their selected card. So we can see here it's the 5 of hearts. And then to place their selected pile back on top of the pack. Now here's the key step. As you deal cards to the table in the act of trying to sense the spectator's card, you're secretly going to deal 13 cards. Don't make it obvious that you're counting cards or anything, but just in the act of trying to pick up on their senses, secretly deal 13 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13. You can now say you haven't managed to pick up on their cards, so you can take the dealt cards and place all of these back on top of the pack. And now you can also take the pile that the spectator didn't select and place these cards back on top of the pack. All you need to do now is hand the pack to the spectator and have them spell out your card is red. One card for each letter dealt to the table. So your Y-O-U-R card, C-A-R-D, is I-S, red, R-E-D, and then taking the next card and placing it to the side. And all that's left to do now is to reveal that this card right here is indeed the spectator's card. In this case, the 5 of hearts. Now, just a note, if the spectator happens to choose the black cards instead of the red cards, then the trick works exactly the same, except instead of dealing 13 cards in trying to sense their card, you'll deal 15 cards instead. And then obviously at the end, you'll spell out your card is black. But other than that, everything else is exactly the same. Take this one, practice it, go out there, perform it, and of course, above all else, have fun. Whether in magic or in life, a focused vision can help lead you through uncertainty and make the seemingly impossible become possible. When you know exactly what you're aiming for, like a red card in this trick, even the most random or impossible situations can lead to success. So let your vision guide you to new heights. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, keep the magic alive and take care.